Welcome in to another episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, aka Merchel, aka pretty happy United fan after today's Europa games. We are presented as always by the homies over at Evoca TV. We got the full squad on today. Full squad, whole squad here. Of course, the super producer, Yahya. What's up, my guy?
Not much, man. Keeping warm in my nice C38 sweater we have.
No advertising. They can buy space if they want.
I'm cool with C38.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Juaners, give me my commission.
I kid. And of course, the man with the graphics, downtown Duane Brown.
What's up? Hello, live from Yaya's desk down the hall.
By the way, I'm mad. Bye.
He's gone. You're out of here.
I'm doing the.
Did you get kicked out of the art hole? Is there too much going on in the art hole, or what's going on? Why are you in Yaya's office? That's weird.
Yeah, D-line's doing some work, so I didn't want to be destructive when everyone else's offices are open. So
that's a good point.
I have the best setup. So
yeah,
the most rapid setup.
Yeah, I noticed you got my Tim Howard here.
Yeah, I put it up because I thought I was going to do way more shows from there than I do.
He's so cute. He's so cute.
Little Tim Howard. You love to see it. And then, of course,
Tiny Tim
joining us for the duration of the MLS playoffs, which is coming to this win, the one, the only, Joseph Samelson. My dude, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that I got my chalk predictions right last week. As a Real Sociedad fan,
You're not a Real Sociedad fan.
Really,
but
just
also if you were a Sociedad fan, you'd be happy because they finished top of the group, so you would be pretty stoked.
Really, just an anti-Man United fan. I'm against them.
You're off the podcast forever after this. So
I was about to say, did your last pod, man? Like, the playoffs are done. There's no need for Joseph anymore. We're out of here.
Ever again. All right, bye. Look,
no, but I'm happy to.
Well, I'm
join
telling
you
you what's going to happen right now. We're not really ever talking European soccer, but United is drawing Ajax just because that's obviously what's going to happen. They came down from champions. We already know it's going to happen. Or Barca, and I hope they just send Barca.
It's just matchups like that you have to worry about when you're a perennial Europa League club like Manchester United.
They were champions last season, my guy. Last season, last year, champions.
If you can't get anyway, does it really count?
Moving on. Hey, Ramon, my guy. Thank you. All right.
No,
we're
Ramon,
gonna talk.
The hell out of. I will kick you out too, Ramon.
You will not. Okay. We got to get this on track. Okay, we're gonna talk World Cup coverage, what we're doing here at DNVR, how we're gonna be hosting some stuff, who we're partnered with, things you can expect, some of our coverage you can expect. We're gonna, of course, preview the MLS Cup final. And then, since it's snowing, we're going to talk about fun stuff to do in the snow. So there you go. And then let's start with a little World Cup news. We'll decide how impactful this news really is. But Rapids 2 midfielder Daniel Chacon called up Costa Rica national team for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. I'm going to let mostly Yaya and Joseph drive this one as they have the most exposure to this player and how he profiles on an international level. Joseph, when you saw this news, I'm assuming it was relatively expected. He has featured for Costa Rica before, but what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, no, I was expecting this from the moment that Rapids 2 signed him during the summer because he had consistently featured for Costa Rica during qualifying. He's not a starter for the national team, but he's a regular contributor. He's played at both the back line and at like the six. So he's going to the World Cup, I think, ostensibly as Costa Rica's backup six. But, he's got the toolkit and versatility to play along the back line. He's done that with his I forget the name of the club he came from in Costa Rica. It wasn't Saprissa or Herediano, which are those are the sort of the two big guys down there. But he played a lot for them. I haven't it's very difficult to watch the Costa Rican league from the United States, so I haven't seen much of his club games. But he's looked up to the task when he's played internationally. So hyped young prospect that's coming through the Rapid system. Who knows what a World Cup can do, and who knows where his ceiling is. But it would be cool to see him potentially don burgundy in the future, especially for Rapids 2 next season.
Yeah, I mean he's 21, so I mean he's not like he's not like young, but I mean young in terms of the MLS and working up the professional club level on like a world scale. I mean, they did trade for Ralph, who's also I think 2 years younger, somewhere in that range.
I think he's still 19.
Yeah, so significantly younger and in the same position. So it'll be curious to see long term how they if they play together, how that works, kind of where we see him fit in. Yeah, what were your thoughts on Chacon?
The whole thing about Chacon is at this point, yeah, it's okay. The whole thing about I have like my wife talking to me right now. The whole thing with Chacon is like, is he gonna even make the world? Is he even gonna wear a Rapids kit next year?
Sure.
There is a possibility. There's a world, as it might be slim, that there is an injury and he does become the starter and he does ball out, and the Rapids get an offer from somebody out there that they just can't refuse.
Sure.
Are they going to turn down $5 million from, I don't know, Brighton out in Premier League?
I feel like we're like
Jack Price.
No, for Chacon, like
like
I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
No, I'm not.
Tiny bit.
The thing is that you're right. Like, it's a very slim possibility.
I'm going to go with very, very, very slim possibility.
He is backup, so one injury can put him right there.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is not a very deep Costa Rican team. This is not a very good Costa Rican team.
No.
There's a team that...
It's also a very old team.
Exactly.
And he's one of the few young guys.
Exactly. So who's going to stand out the most in a team that has been seen in the World Cup and has had a good World Cup runs before? There's... Like, that's where Keylor Navas came from. There's like a reason Keylor Navas was like really really coveted after that 2014 World Cup. All it takes is a few good performances in a world stage for you to get that. And I'm saying it's very slim, but there is a possibility where he balls out and he just never sees the light of day as a Rapid. And he just becomes like
World
a quick
Cup
transfer.
bump is real, right? Like tournament bumps are
for
real,
sure.
Right? It's like when a player gets hot, like his senior season in March Madness, and then gets drafted too high because he had a good run. You know what I mean? Like stuff like this can happen.
James is a great example of this. James literally grabbed his bags and went straight to Madrid. And again, I think I'm really high on Chacon.
Bag too, dude.
I'm really high on Chacon in the aspect that I think the Rapids are like really rich with young midfielders that could develop into something actual legit. Into legit rotation pieces. And I'm talking about Hanya, I'm talking about Aguirre, I'm talking about Chacon, I'm talking about Ali Laraz, and I'm talking about Max Alvarez. And that's not even including Ralph Priso, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think Chacon is just going to add to that group of midfielders that can really fortify the Rapids. And you can kind of start seeing how the Rapids are building their team like Union. These are moves that Union does that it doesn't pay off immediately, but you see it little by little start building their depth, start building their foundation. And I feel like the Rapids are doing the same thing right now.
Sure.
And Chacon being called up to the national team on the World Cup, nevertheless, just kind of shows how well the Rapids have been scouting and how well Chacon has actually played in Cartagenas. And it just shows that the Rapids are going to be in a good place coming into the 2 next years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Brian Crookham deserves a lot of credit for some of the pieces he's unearthed for Rapids 2. I know Rapids 2 didn't have an amazing season this year. I think a lot of that was due to a lot of injuries. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players who missed, months. But he's picked out a handful of like really interesting like players who have just generally a solid solid attributes, but they're missing like 1 or 2 elements to their gameplay. So I think MLS Next Pro is going to help iron that out for players like Hanya, for Aguirre, and hopefully Chacon.
Look, if Chacon ends up just being an asset, that's great.
That's
honestly,
perfect.
like if he turns into a tradable piece and never sees burgundy, that's honestly, considering considering
Remember, they got him on a
package-
free.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, this is exactly something that like great if he does his if he improves his stock that much via the international way to go, like great,
Mhm.
by all means, like please, and turn that into something down the line, whether that's just a sweetener on a trade deal or whatever that is. Only good things can come from this. There's zero negative to this at all. So yeah, I mean, any closing thoughts on Chacon in the World Cup, Costa Rica? Anybody?
Let's hope he gets one start. That'd be cool.
I think he gets 2.
How about a goal? That'd be sick. Give me that.
Yeah, I also think they're just very injured.
Or an assist, or I don't know. Give me anything. Get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I just think Costa Rica's gonna get injured. They're old, they're slow, they're gonna need some infusion of life, and I think Chacon's gonna be exactly what they need.
I'd love to see it. Well, you know where you can watch Chacon play? Duane, do you know where you can watch the Costa Rica games?
I do know where you can watch.
Where can you watch the Chacon games and every other game?
Downstairs at the DNVR bar.
Oh shit! Let's go.
Let's go. I was scared for a minute.
Yeah. We're not hanging out in Dwayne's basement. We will be hanging out at the DNVR bar. DNVR has partnered with KSE and the Colorado Rapids. We are the official watch bar of the Rapids for the World Cup. Pretty dope. Joseph, you had a face. What's the face? What, are you not into that?
Oh, it's just the way you threw KSE in there. I thought that was kind of funny.
What? Why?
This is a little funny.
All right.
If DNVR official partner.
Am I wrong?
KSE. No, I just thought,
You know what?
I think that's funny for obvious reasons, and I don't
Yeah,
think I don't want to.
No,
I don't want to burn.
Everyone
any
loves
bridges here.
KSE.
I don't want to burn any bridges here, but I think that's
No, but
that's
it's going to be a really
obviously
cool
funny.
partnership, man. It's going to be really cool. We have the Rapids merch team will be out. They'll have a whole installation in the back of the bar selling Rapids merch. We'll be selling some of our merch, some men's national team stuff. You'll be able to get styled out. We'll be open for every single game. Every
Getting
game.
drunk at 10 in the morning.
After
Let's
6 a.m.
go.
What was that doing?
Starting at 6 a.m.
Correct. Yeah.
we
correct.
will not be open for the 3 a.m. games.
No, the one, I think it's like the Qatar game, and then there's one other game in the group stage that's too early for us to be open because
I'm sorry, but who even cares about Qatar, dude? I hope they get eliminated and lose every game and get shut out every game. I hope the worst for that team.
They're better than you think.
they're actually
No.
pretty sneaky.
I don't care how good they are. Just
No,
hope
I
the
know.
worst for
I
them.
know what you hope. I'm just saying you might not get.
Yeah, they have a pretty good
yeah.
chance of getting out of group. I mean, the host always has the best draw, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. In the home, that
yeah.
group sucks to begin with.
Yeah.
You can also taking it away from Qatar and back to Denver.
Yeah.
In the DNVR bar. For those of you who are going to be coming to lots of matches and watching along with us, you can buy a special limited edition pint glass that you can keep with you, and then get
sick.
$2 off every drink for the rest of the tournament.
Damn.
It's pretty sweet. It's more than just watching
Watch
the
parties,
matches.
yeah.
Obviously, that's the most important part. But guys, it's going to be this excellent opportunity just to hang out, watch some soccer,
Get drunk at 6 in the morning.
Well, you can't. Okay, so
merch.
legally, you
Till
can't serve
7.
alcohol until 7 a.m.
Yeah.
First, but we will have our brunch menu going in the duration for the first 6, half and first half plus some change.
Come
the
get
pancakes-
some breakfast.
the
Get some
pancakes
breakfast.
Are so good. The pancakes are so good.
But yeah, like it's honestly really cool that we got to team up with the Rapids to be able to do this. Like we're hoping to have like do a big blowout. Who knows? You might catch me in the corner and just sulking to myself as Mexico gets eliminated. Every
And then
World
we'll be
Cup.
doing a live reaction pod where you are crying and I am cheering. It will be perfect.
See, I could do the same thing with Man U, but we just can't do that every year to you.
Hey, they're not eliminated from anything, baby.
Except maybe the Premier League title.
Hey, wide open.
If you're Liverpool or
Liverpool. Bye. No, it's gonna be really cool. In terms of what you can expect from this podcast and these hosts and the people you're familiar with, we will be doing watch-alongs for every U.S. game. Hopefully, it's more than 3. 4
It's
would be
gonna be
dope.
4.
5 would be 6. 6 would be, I believe, unprecedented. So,
They've
right?
made the semis before, but
we
that
made
was before the
semis.
Yeah.
round of 16 was a thing. So
Right. So
I
yes,
think
it would be
they,
unprecedented to win 2 games in the knockout stages.
I mean, Mexico made it to the final back in 1932 or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Look, it would be really cool. But either way, we will be watching along. We'll be live up in Studio A, up above the bar for those games. You can watch along with us. Jump in the comments. We'll be talking out. We'll have various DNVR personalities and some of our friends who've been on this show in and out and can hang out with us and watch
except
that
for
way.
Joseph. Joseph won't be on.
Yeah, he's shadow banned. But
I'm
we're also
banned.
telling him, so I guess it's not shadow banned anymore. It's just banned. Light banned.
If he does come on the screen, we're just gonna put a black.
I got family
blanket over
visiting
him.
Thanksgiving week anyway. So
They can
Okay,
come
like,
too.
they
The
don't play
bar is not
before
exclusive
Thanksgiving.
to just single people. Bring everyone, dude. Everyone. It's gonna be fun as hell. I hope you guys can make it out. That Black Friday game against England is going to be quite lit.
Especially because there's a Avalanche game going on at the exact same time.
Both
gonna be fun.
games start at noon. It's going to be bananas.
do we think that U.S. England game is going to break TV viewership record in the U.S. like
No.
for
For a World
Cup
Cup?
games?
Probably.
I don't World Cup. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think the
Yeah.
record is one of the U.S. women's finals.
People want to see winners, not see the USMNT
That's
Sure.
true. That's
I wonder
true.
what the I mean, I guess the most iconic, like, I don't think that Algeria game even holds the record. It's probably that Belgium game that they should have won and lost. Would probably be I would assume.
Everywhere I
8
went
years
when
ago.
that game was on, like people were watching that game. Like,
Yeah.
that was a huge cultural milestone. I
Yeah.
think.
See, to me, the Spain game back in 2009, I want to say.
Oh, the Confederations Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that was a bigger one than
The
Belgium
greatest
game.
Josie Altidore run in American history.
Yeah, and
true.
also like
Yeah.
Spain came in undefeated, and it was like
Yeah.
who the fuck was
Top
gonna
in the
beat-
world, I believe,
Yeah.
at the time, ranked number 1 in FIFA rankings. So
Yeah, dude, Spain
Um,
was like unbeatable. They had
yeah.
won like 40 in a row, 38 in a row, something like that. It was like something.
But
insane.
England has still yet to beat the United States in a competitive match.
eat it.
Never
England.
happened. 2
and
draws,
they never
baby.
beat us in a civil war either. Come
Yeah.
at
For
me,
1 draw
man.
and a win.
Revolutionary War.
Hey,
Same thing.
And
We still won
1812.
both of
I got
them.
4 numbers for you, England. 1776, baby.
Let's go.
So other than our watch alongs and other than our watch parties, we will be doing a little pre-recorded kind of graphics heavy YouTube series that we will drop, just previewing all the groups and sort of, we'll throw in predictions and stuff here and there. And that'll also be the 3 of us plus whoever is around and wants to hang out and contribute to those. We'll be recording those in studio to look all fancy with graphics and all that stuff. And just to kind of help the DNVR community who, let's be real, man. A lot of people don't watch anything outside the World Cup or even pay attention or read about it. But once it's on, they want to know. So we will help get you primed up for the World Cup. Pretty excited about those. Those will come out right before, probably, I don't know, 2 days or so before the first Qatar opener, somewhere in there. What are you guys most looking forward to about all that?
Mimosas at 10 a.m. Not gonna lie, I'm really excited for mimosas.
Mimosas.
Hey, mimosas and soccer, dude, is one of the best combinations. And not
I'm a chilada if I had to choose, personally.
I'm a big mimosa guy, man. I love orange juice and champagne. I'm fancy like that, But
Fancy, that's what I think of for sure.
Oh, for sure, dude. I think of white women at a country club, but I'm honestly really excited just to see how far the U.S. and Mexico can actually go. I have really low hopes for both teams.
You're really high on Canada for some reason, so I'm not sure.
I just think Canada's better than both teams right now in form. I think they have a better coach. I think they have the top, better elite players, which helps out a lot.
The U.S. are lucky that England's a dumpster fire, Wales is old, and they get Iran. They're just lucky at the state of the other teams.
Yeah, I'm not saying
their only chance.
Yeah, but again, also
I think it's generally good though to go into a World Cup with that sort of low expectation mindset because you're almost always going to like have a good time.
Yes,
I
you
feel
should.
like I mean, I'm personally just really happy that the U.S. is playing at a World Cup again. I could honestly care less whether or not they. I mean, I want them to advance, obviously, but if they don't, listen, I'm just happy we're back at a World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Qualifying was a stressful process for everybody,
Yeah.
and I'm just happy they made it, and I'm happy that we don't have to deal with that rigmarole for at least 8 years because of the 2026, and that's honestly how I see it. As a US fan. Like, I see this year as dress rehearsal for 26 because of how young
Correct.
this team is, for how inexperienced this team is on both the international level and just even at their clubs. Man, if the U.S. wins a knockout stage game, I am over the moon. Be right,
100%.
I am over the moon. I mean, honestly, I'm over the moon if they get out of the group, because I think you guys are underestimating. I think Mitch is underestimating Iran.
I'm not underestimating anything.
And I do agree with you though that people probably are overestimating Wales, and that England is kind of just England's England. So I mean,
England could
top
not
tier
be in a
talent.
worse spot. They have so much pressure on them.
But
They are performing terribly.
They could be in a worse spot. They could be
But
the
listen,
U.S.
But by FIFA rating, which obvious grain of salt, but by FIFA rating, this is the strongest group.
Oh, by a mile.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all top
The tournament.
22 or something like
They're
that.
all top. Yeah, they're all top 25 at least.
Yeah. So this is look. It's a competitive group. The one thing going for the U.S. is athleticism and speed, and I hope they don't play away from that advantage, which is probably what's going to happen. But they are faster, stronger, bigger than every team in the group, and I just hopefully they can make.
I wouldn't say stronger. I think England's pretty strong.
I just mean physically, like actual physically. Unless you,
I think England's stronger than them.
Yeah, I guess slab face, good old Harry Maguire will be in the middle of that back line.
But I still think they're good. I still think they're really, really good.
England? Yeah, they're good.
No, I'm talking about the US.
Yeah.
But I also just think they're too young. That's why it's like they can hit a roll and just go all the way to the semis, in my opinion.
Oh my god!
But like I can see a world where like they just something clicks in them and it's just like go,
Sure.
go. Which happens. It happened to Costa Rica. Why can't it happen to the US that has a more talented roster?
I think we're getting out of the group, and I think U.S. soccer fans have put this this is a test run tag on this team way too much, and I think it's
shots at Joseph.
I think it's no, it's not just Joseph. It's like almost every U.S. men's national team fan I've heard from or talked to. Everyone's saying this is our rehearsal, this is our trial run, and I'm like, what a shitty attitude.
Yeah, it's the World Cup. Let's take it as the World Cup.
No, this team's average age is like 22, 23.
I'm not.
I mean, yeah, but there's
experience matters a lot in a tournament.
And because of how little time you get with national teams,
it's more about
the reason why like all the big teams, like all of their players are in like sort of the 27-32 range, because at that stage of your career, you've had a lot of experience with the national team. You know what's expected. You know how to play with players that you're not generally like with at on the club level, and I think that's where that advantage comes in. Like, I mean, I'm seeing it as a test run just because I think that's mentally like the best way I can go in this and still have a good time watching the World Cup, because I do think there's a very real possibility that this team finishes fourth, but I think the US could finish literally in every single place in this group. That's why you play the games though. So,
and the other thing also is how you said the US is very young, and most teams that win the World Cup, you can kind of see it coming by the previous World Cup. You can kind of happen with Germany. It's happened with Spain. It happens every time. You can kind of see the team growing from the previous World Cup. There's a united group. You saw it with France. They had the foundation built. And I think the US just hasn't built that foundation fully yet for them to be like legit contenders. But there's always a Cinderella run. And there's no reason the US can't be that.
France is interesting, man. No Conte and no Pogba. They don't have their starting midfield. They're still an absolute machine. No Varane either, who was captaining some of their tune-up games. So they're down some critical pieces. They still have
Listen,
Mbappe.
France
They
deserve
still have-
But are they old? Are they old enough to compete?
Yes, of course they are.
Yeah, and experience. They won a
They
World
won
Cup.
the last one, and they still have the same
Yeah.
team basically. So yes, I wonder why you're discounting that. Like, not many teams with 22-year-olds are going to win the World Cup. It
I'm
hasn't
not saying
happened.
they're going to win the World Cup. I don't like the
reality?
the whole mentality.
You don't like the truth? You don't like facing what the
What's
US
wrong with
is?
saying it's a warm up though? Because it is. They're like expectations should not be high, but it is a learning experience. It's good, right?
I think
Like,
it's totally a learning experience, but it's just I feel like so many fans are going into the World Cup not really into it. It's just kind of like, we're gonna go play some games in the World Cup, and it's just like for me, and I'm speaking just for myself.
Sure.
Like, that's not enough for me. Like, I'm gonna go in and I've watched us play some very, very good games leading up to this World Cup over the past couple of years. I've watched us play some real stinkers.
That Japan game.
But I think that there was a lot of, I would say, World Cup prep fatigue in this squad, where everyone is just. I do believe that you just get tired of playing all of these little matches to get to the big show. And I think when we are at the World Cup, I think you're going to see these players turn it back up to a very strong squad. I'm not saying we're going to win the World Cup, but I'm certainly not going to go into it going, I'm here to watch the US play some soccer. Like, I'm going into it with more hope than that. It kills me that Mr. Yaselina up there is just
he just said they could make a semifinals run.
No, but the thing is,
they're just too young. So let's just cash it in.
It's not that they're young. It's just like you need experience, man. How I said, you see the team that's gonna win it. You see them growing from the last World Cup. You the one that I've been the most surprised is by Netherlands back in 2010 because they were a good team, but the World Cup before you didn't really see them making that push for the final. They were barely hitting their peak, and I just think the U.S. needs that. The U.S. needs to get their feet wet. I'm sorry, but the Gold Cup is no competition.
Agree.
The Gold Cup is not a tournament that you should at any time use as a measuring stick about how good you are in tournaments. The Gold Cup
Nations League, Yaya. But Nations League.
Nations League
for 3 straight trophies, so I'm going to take that for sure.
So that's the thing. You just got to make sure. And I think also another reason a lot of US fans are feeling like, oh, there's a warm up World Cup, because I feel like a lot of people around the world feel the same way. I think many people are not that excited about this Qatar World Cup and are not putting all their hopes into it like they have in the even the Russian World Cup. I felt like a lot of people are like, Germany is gonna go out. I feel like this World Cup has been a lot of kind of slow grind for everybody because it's in the middle of winter. It's in Qatar. There's a lot of restrictions. I feel like it's been a grind for everybody, and nobody's expecting their team to win.
So many players are injured too.
Exactly.
Every team is ravaged by injuries, including the US.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's very hard for people to kind of get behind their squad, because there's already a season going on. There's key players injured for every World Cup squad. And there's also that maybe we don't think about it, but Qatar hasn't been the most welcoming to everybody, especially in such a festive time. And it feels like a slow grind going into the World Cup that nobody's really thinking, oh, we're about to win this. It's more like, oh, hopefully we can kind of get far.
Yeah, I love it.
The US, based on qualifying minutes for all the teams that qualified to the World Cup, the US has the youngest roster by far.
What's the gap between 1 and 2
World Cup
versus 2 to 3 or whatever?
Well, it's the average age of the US during qualifying was 24.5, and then you go up a full year to Ecuador and Ghana, who are at 25.5. average age, and then the rest of the gaps are like incremental and like tenths.
Sure. Right.
By far the US was likely to have the youngest team at the World Cup. So we'll wait and see when the rosters come. All the rosters.
The interesting thing about the young team, in terms of, they do have the youngest team, but in terms of US men's national teams, we're talking about a team that has the most experience in terms of high level club play that we've ever put into a tournament by a mile. Like I don't think you can compare it at all. This roster is top 5 European League heavy. Like
go ahead. Yeah, I will say though, one thing I've noticed from the big national teams, it's like you remember when we were talking about how Spain was on that run when they were undefeated for so long. Something like 85% of their starting lineup during that time was playing for either Barcelona or Real Madrid. Right.
And most of them were Barcelona under Pep, was it?
Yeah, I think under Pep. Yeah. And then, Real Madrid contributed a lot of players then too, I think. I mean, but my point is with some of the bigger national teams, they've had so many of their players play at the same clubs with each other. And that just has given them such a big advantage. The US does kind of have, like, although they have more European experience than ever, the players that are the players that are going to be on the roster by and large haven't been playing with each other at that level, and that does that sort of inexperience playing together is what worries me, because like even in the early the US teams in the early aughts, right, they played, like those teams were a lot older, so they had a lot more experience playing on the national team level, so that factor wasn't as important, but because of how young they are, because of how little game time relative to the rest of their opponents they've had together, like that's what I'm worried about. So
I think that's pretty valid. So anyways, come down to the DNVR
bar. Anybody wants to get overhyped, come down to DNVR bar and I will get super hyped with you.
Duane Solina, you love to see.
Listen, I'll be hype as hell during the games. Like I'll be US can do no wrong, but
And I have good news for get the memo in the comments. US doesn't play until noon, so you don't have to get up at 3 a.m., my friend. We got to
there's only like 2 games on before 6 o'clock. All the games are like mostly 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Like it's a very watchable World Cup considering where it's being played. Russia had worse times, I feel like.
I remember waking up at 7 to watch that Germany-Mexico game.
There's something I want to clear up, guys. There's something I want to clear up. I saw it in a response to some of our social pushes for this announcement for our partnering with the Rapids, and I've heard it just around the Rapids world that there are people who are upset with DNVR because they think we killed 3 lions. I've heard that. Why would we ever go there? You guys killed 3 lions. We need to clear this up. We need to clear it up. 3 Lions was closed by a bar company that we had nothing to do with at the time. Colfax Sports and Brew existed for almost 2 years. That was closing. We came in and joined then. We made a DNVR. The company that we joined up with is no longer involved. We have a whole new management company that is so far removed from us. We had nothing to do with the death of 3 Lions. And I love 3 Lions. I went to 3 Lions all the time. That upstairs was awesome. That's what Studio A is now. But yeah, we didn't kill 3 Lions. And I just want people to we love soccer. We are trying to embrace all the communities in town, embrace the sports viewing crowd and get them in and have fun and offer fun things. And if you're mad at us for closing 3 Lions, it wasn't us. Take it up with the people that closed 3 Lions. We had nothing to do with it. 0, period. No lies. So I've heard it enough that I needed to get on here and let it out. So sorry if that was a bit of a sidetrack, my guys.
It was a bit of a sidetrack, but I think it was a good clarification to make. I saw the comments you're talking about, the off base ones.
It's just not true. Like, and the problem is, it's people, like, the feeling towards it is so strong because losing a bar like that sucks. Like any big game, it was standing room out to the patio. Like, it was packed. That place was awesome for soccer games. So I get it. But if you didn't know that there was a bar for 2 years in between and you're mad at us, how often did you really go there if you didn't know that Sports and Brew was there for 2 years? Right? Like, it's just save the emotion for something that deserves it, because it wasn't us, I promise. Okay, moving on. This weekend, Saturday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time in Los Angeles.
We'll be watching on Ibaka TV.
Oh, you want me? Oh, yeah, duh. You can watch. If you have Avoca TV, you can use your Sling discounted package that you get with Avoca TV. Avoca, the homies, they are the new goat in Colorado sports. That is the greatest of all television. Avoca TV delivers amped up sports coverage for Colorado fans featuring altitude sports and 18th.
I'm sorry.
Get the most regional content for the lowest price for sports in Colorado. That's Avs, Nuggets, DU, CSU, UNC, and MSU. Go Road Runners! Did you know that our DNVR Nuggets crew went to Serbia to learn more about the history and culture of a country that delivered the city of Denver a 2-time MVP? We are blown away by the support from Premiere Night back in October. So we have more showings coming up. There was another one last night. There'll be 2 more this month on Avoca TV for 100 Invisible Threads, our documentary about the DNVR Nuggets crew going to Serbia. It's a 90-minute premium documentary originally made in-house by our team. That's Adam, RG, Wheatley was involved, the whole Nuggets crew. It is amazing. Have you guys watched it yet?
No, I have not been able to.
Duane?
Does it have ad breaks? That's my
No.
question. No ad breaks. That's awesome. Like you can't get that anywhere else on TV, guys.
Yeah. No, it's just a legit 90-minute documentary. It is
That's awesome.
really, really dope. Definitely worth the time and worth the watch. And we're signing up for Avoca. You can watch this show. We are live on Avoca as we speak right now on the DNVR channel. You can watch pre-games, especially for Nuggets and Avs seasons coming up that we're in the middle of right now. You can watch Nuggets pregame.
First 5-6 games don't matter.
Switch over to altitude, watch the game, switch back to DNVR for the post-game show right here. Like, it's all right there on Avoca TV. So definitely worth it and worth your time. So you can go to evoca.tv and signing up for just $25 a month and $5 receiver. The is evoca.tv/DNVR. You can watch your favorite Colorado sports teams and original DNVR content. And the trailer for 100 Invisible Threads is live on the YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. Yeah. Okay. Can't believe I forgot to do the ad read before jumping into the MLS Cup final, which is this weekend. Finally, the end of the 2022 MLS season is nigh, but we have a battle of the Titans for the first time since 2003. 2 1 seeds are going to be fighting out for the Cup. And I think that's 4 or 5 iterations of how the postseason is played since then, at least. But the format, finally, for the first time in this format, you have the 2 top seeds playing each other. I think everyone banked on a little bit of chaos happening in their predictions because none of us had 1 versus 1 at the start of the playoffs. My dream of an Austin Philly final died a sad and brutal death last weekend in LA.
Did any of us predict? I don't think
High
any
five.
of us predicted LAFC to make the final before
High five,
at the beginning.
Joseph.
No,
At the
none of us.
beginning. At the beginning, I don't think any when we were just like spitballing on our brackets. I don't think any of us predicted.
I had Philly
all of
the
our
way, and
Western
I thought the
Conference
West would get
Yeah.
Are
What
you
do we
it's not
think?
2 o'clock? Sorry, keep going.
No, what do we think about
Yeah, man,
how this format played out this year? Because I've heard the argument that like these one and done games that make the playoffs just go so quick, and the playoffs
yeah.
are just, it feels like the playoffs just started and now they're over. So I don't know how, like I could see the argument that, you know, for MLS to maintain like a sort of footprint in the national consciousness, that the playoffs need to be a little bit more extended. And there has been like some rumors about them extending the format next year. And I just sort of wanted to get y'all's take on that.
So this is what you do. You add another team.
Mm-hmm.
You make the first 2 rounds a home and away. Semis, conference finals, and the final becomes 1 game. You don't go neutral site on the final because I hate that so much. Just never works out. But wherever, let's say LAFC does like get the final again next year, whatever, you have to allocate half the tickets to the other team.
Okay.
You're right. Says
That's what I
right
think.
there, dude. 2 p.m. Wait, right there, dog. Boom, boom.
I think he's responding to Get the Memo, who said U.S. versus
Yeah.
Wales is at 3
Yeah,
a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah, he wasn't talking to you. Man.
All the U.S. games at the World Cup are at noon, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome, man. This noon. Give me noon watch time all day long, dude.
Dude, get
Love
excited,
that.
get done, and you're done for the day by like what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? That's awesome.
And if you drink a bunch of mimosas, like yeah, you'll be asleep by about 5. So there
I'm
you
not
go.
gonna drink a bunch of mimosas. I'm gonna guggle a bunch of mimosas. No breathing, man.
Guggle. I like that. What a term. Okay, and off the bat, initial reactions to this game. I still want to ride with Philly, but I feel like I've picked against LAFC every step of the way except for their opener. And like should it be time for me to just put that away and jump ship and bring in LAFC? Duane, you say no.
Nope. LAFC is the popular pick. It's got the all-star roster, the big names, but give me 3-time MLS goalkeeper of the year in that defense and their goal differential, and I'm all in on Philly. I think Union's bringing it, and I think they're going to take home the MLS Cup.
Okay. Right now on DraftKings, which you can sign up at with promo code DNVR, it is the money line has LAFC at -130, so not a strong favorite. But Union, you can get it plus 290.
That's where the real money's at.
290. If you missed out on, let's see, I was on bets in June and I said you should pick Philly plus 1,000. So if you didn't get in on that, I love those odds. I got a couple tickets with that. I came on later in the summer and it was down to plus 650, and I put another ticket on that. So if you didn't listen then, plus 290 to win this is pretty good odds for this game, I would say. Joseph, where are you at? Would you think that's? I mean, they're saying they're basically 3-1 to win this game, which I feel like for such a good team, that's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, like you, I've also, I think I've picked against LAFC every step of the way except for last week. At which point I was like, you know what? I gave way to the chalk. Right? Yeah, I let the chalk wash over me, and I just went with the top 2 seeds. So listen, I think this Philly team is one of the best teams in MLS history that did not win the Supporters Shield.
Yeah, I think that's safe
I think
to say.
like you could make that. I think you could really make the argument that it is the best non-Supporters Shield winning team in MLS history. And listen, Curtin's such a good coach. He knows how to manage games. Andre Blake's going to save their asses a handful of times. So the question is, can the Union put the ball in the back of the net? And I think that they do. I think it's a narrow win, but I still think it's a win for the Union. And that's with the idea that this is going to be a road game for them. But I just can't bet against Philly. I sort of picked them at the start, and
I've been on
like
them
to
all
win
the
it
way.
all.
I can't. Yeah.
And I can't really back down from that now, as much as I am impressed by LAFC continuing to defy my expectations for them in the playoffs. And honestly, like, I feel like Steve Cherundolo isn't really getting enough credit for doing as well of a job he's done in his first ever year. I mean, yeah, they've got a really talented roster, but they still got to win the games. Cherundolo's done a really good job with LAFC, but listen, I just, between the coach battle, I pick Curtin. Team battle, I think the Union is a better team, even though LAFC has better individual players.
That back line and keeper combo is just so
that's just
good.
what it is,
it's
right?
It's so good.
I just can't.
The fact that they trailed at all is crazy to me.
I just can't expect LAFC to get multiple goals past Blake, and I think they'll need to do that to
Yeah.
win.
They won't win
I
one.
think it depends on if they wear down. Can they wear down Philly's defense? And like Philly has one of the worst possession percentages in the league. So I think it's just going to be an offensive onslaught from LAFC. So it's how long can they last, and do they get that counter strike in? And like you said, can they actually put the ball in? Like you, I feel the same. I feel they're going to do it. I do think it's going to be, it's probably going to be a 2-1, a 3-2. I don't think there's going to be a big gap there between the score. But I do think it's going to be Philly. I think they're going to pull it off. I think it's going to be the best final that we've watched that I can remember from MLS finals.
Yeah, and
I hope it is. I don't want it to be as lopsided.
You have 2 p.m. on a Saturday, right? So you're going up against, I don't know, like some ranked team in college football beating the shit out of some bad team. Like, there's really nothing else right now.
I think they're a Tennessee-Alabama game at that time.
Is it at that? Is it at 2?
I think so.
Oh God, they're gonna get smoked in the ratings. But that being said, you have a 1 versus 1. Like, you don't get. Last year was what, a 4 and a 5, right? Was that?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is as
maybe
good
4 and a 3. I think
New York
might have been 3.
This is as good as you can get in terms of like, oh, like you like soccer, but you don't watch a ton of MLS. You should tune in on Saturday. This is the 2 best teams in the league. Yeah, you're on mute if you were saying something to us. But I do want to piggyback on something that Joseph said, which is what's really impressive about what Trundle is doing is the guys that have gotten them through this playoff run. It's not those huge names they went and grabbed for a bunch of money, right? And that's what I was worried about, was they would be relying on these big names who haven't played a ton of minutes together. But it's been Bwanga, and it's been Chicho, and it's been these guys that are like not the A-list stars on the team. And that's what's been really impressive. And I think I underrated that going into the playoffs, as those guys being able to carry the team.
So this is the thing about this game. You're getting a high opponent offense in LAFC that's going against the best defense that MLS has seen in the last 7 years, in my opinion. 7 to 10 years in Philly. Mm-hmm. Which one is better?
Right.
The defense is better. Defense wins championships in every sport. That's how you win the game. That's how you go all the way to the finals. Philly has a way better defense, in my opinion, than LAFC has an attacking group. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a 2-0 game. I think LAFC gets shut out. And you also,
that is. I mean,
so this is the way you
flabbergasted.
The way I look at this is, you put them up against each other. You put up the Vela, Blessing, Arango, Bale.
Has Blessing even seen a minute? Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Well, you put him up against this defense and that goalkeeper. And even though LAFC has the high-end names, has all these great people like the Kalen Acostas, everything that you want to hear about, Philly has the chemistry. Philly has everything you need to win a championship, and they have the better goalkeeper. Now you turn around and you compare LAFC's defense to Philly's attack, and Philly has a better attacking core than LAFC has defense and goalkeepers. And that's the thing you got to. Philly's just a really well-coached team. They're strong from top to bottom. They have depth, and that's something I don't think LAFC can say. I don't think they have chemistry. I think they've out-talented everybody in the playoffs. I think they haven't faced the defense this strong all year.
No, they haven't.
Even in the playoffs, I think they got a really weak Austin that crumbled in the last minute.
Well, I think Austin did beat them twice this year.
They did, but I mean in the playoffs.
Sure.
They got an Austin team that was starting to crumble, that they didn't really know what. They started losing that chemistry because they started bringing different players. I feel like they got an LA Galaxy team that just ran out of steam, that they peaked a little too early. If they would have peaked maybe a week or two later, they would be right here right now. And even though I chose LAFC the whole way because I saw their talent being what took them over, I think now Philly has the talent to go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah.
and they have the coaching and the chemistry to overtake them and just
Yeah.
show them what a real team looks like.
Yeah, you're right in that it's an unstoppable force in the LA offense, it's an immovable object in the Philly defense, right? So the story of the game is, can Philly's offense put up enough on the other side, right? Can Gazdag kind of lead that from the midfield up? I think they can, and I think Gazdag has the game of the game. I think he's the guy. I think he's the X factor in this. If Philly wins, it's because he has a nice game.
Give me an Andre Blake goal.
What?
An Andre Blake goal.
Oh, on like a 96th minute corner,
Yeah.
Andre Blake header.
Even-
Let's go,
even-
dude.
I was thinking like the Tim Howard boot it long and hope the wind carries the ball into the goal.
No,
you know?
Catch off the line. Yeah.
Give me a corner where they're tied 0-0 and Philly's just like, fuck it, we're going for it. You know what, man? I'm going home. Philly's like, I'm going home with the MLS Cup. We're going home with the World Series, Cup title, whatever. We're going home with the undefeated record. Fuck this, we're out of here. And I think they just take it.
It is Philly season in sports. So I think, are we unanimous and Philly wins this game?
I think so. I think
God, sorry, Philly.
They're gonna lose.
I have
Sorry,
so much
Philly.
faith in Philly, man.
No,
Me
listen,
too.
we're making it. We're making
I've
it
never
up for
been
it
more
because
sure of any of this ever.
I have so much
Ever.
faith in Philly, man, that I went to Walmart earlier and I fucking looked at a Santa Claus statue and I'm like, fuck you. Literally,
What?
man.
Whoa! Oh, you went Philly
Yeah,
fan on him. I know.
Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, did you boo him in the middle of Walmart?
Yeah, and I started throwing snowballs at him. And
Yeah.
it all worked out until the security guard said I had to leave. It was a great bit until the
So
security
you
guard
threw
came
batteries
by.
at him, yeah. I think it's gonna be a great game. We can we'll have a little segment on it next week to kind of talk about it, but definitely tune in. That Georgia Tennessee game, which is when you were talking about 1 versus 3, starts at 1:30 p.m. So I'm
Yeah,
sure a
that
ton of
Georgia,
people are
yeah.
gonna watch the MLS Cup final. Good job, MLS.
Okay, also
you've
who
heard
could've
about the parking
predicted-
situation in LA, right?
Parking.
I've
never been to the bank,
USC is playing next door at
Oh,
Memorial
God.
Coliseum at the exact same time. There is no parking available at MLS Cup. You have to exclusively take like their bus and rideshare stuff that they've got set up.
Interesting. That
Yeah,
sounds awful.
it's a
LA is awful.
logistical mess in Los Angeles for this game. But hey,
It's one of those things.
that's why
like
they play
a
the
good
game on the
problem to
field
have.
and not in the parking lot.
It's also a good problem to have because that means you're in the MLS. So if that's what you have to deal with, that's what you have to deal with. So
Oh, my bad, B-Ray. They're not at the same time, but the parking situation still impacts.
well, yeah, I mean those USC tailgates go all day. I mean it's
Yeah.
yeah. All right, well, unanimous. Look at that. Oh, look at that too. It's also starting to stick out here where I am, at least. Snow's coming down. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, now it because it was moved back because of the rain delay on Tuesday, game 6 has to be played on Saturday. So they have to get there. Oh no, it'll only be game 6 will be Saturday. So
That's
what?
This is the best final ever. I think that we could have
It's
gotten
close.
in a long time.
It's close.
Just the amount of talent and the amount of like storylines that you can carry throughout this. You're literally getting two worlds colliding. The West Coast like fancy team that buys all their star players, and then you're getting the East Coast grinders who built their team from the bottom up, who
be one
built
of
their
the
academy.
top 100 clubs in the world.
Exactly, and it's just I think
which is crazy.
It just shows like how many ways you can build a team and be successful.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good like measuring stick for the Rapids to kind of see what they need to do to get to that next level.
Yeah. All right, really quick. It's snowing. It's gonna be snowing all night. We're inside. And I want to know what's your perfect snow day? What are your activities? Duane, you have kids, so I assume that you have a kid, so I assume you want to go sledding. Me, here's my hot take. Sledding sucks and it's stupid and I hate it. That's my snow.
Why
day
sled
thing.
when you can snowboard?
See, I also don't do that because it's too expensive. The whole thing is expensive.
Number one snow activity.
Uh-oh.
Snow Classico at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Let's
True.
go.
True,
Let's
true.
go.
Top of my list.
That's
As soon as you
brutal.
brought it up, I was like, that's the most fun I've had in this.
I was at that U.S. Costa Rica game, and it was
Too.
awful.
Me too.
Awful.
It was great.
I mean, do you guys like to bunker down, or do you like to get out in the snow when it's snowing?
Yeah, I like to bunker down usually, but I mean, I like to go out and snowboard. Like that's fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like in terms of when it's like a snow day when I would have otherwise been at home, like give me a nice cup of coffee, warm blanket, watch the snowfall outside the window,
Mhm.
watch some TV or play some video games. I don't know.
Dude,
I don't think
Video
you can
games
beat that.
for real.
Bro, Joseph was straight up in a Hallmark movie. Put my chair
Listen.
by the window and watch the snowfall.
Joseph,
It's cool.
those movies are more watched than any other movie on.
Oh,
the
they're good movies for sure. I like them.
They're not.
No,
good,
they're not.
But
They're
are watched a lot.
great movies. I'm sorry, they are great movies.
I did not expect Hallmark movies to be
Yeah.
like the
Me neither.
front runner on.
I did
on
not
this
expect
discussion.
Yaya to be. such
Listen,
a
when you're a
Hallmark
kid
movie
and
fan.
when you're a kid and snow is new and like you've never seen it before and then like all of a sudden like the stuff is falling on the ground, you can hit your friends with snowballs and stuff. Snow's
Snowball
awesome.
fights do rule.
Yeah,
do rule.
that rules. But once you like, so when I grew up in Alabama, right, and so we got snow like once every 5 years, maybe.
Was it enough
so
to even have a snowball fight?
Yeah, so that was like sort of the measuring stick for whether or not it was like even a worthwhile snow, right? Was
Sure.
it can you make one snowball? Like that's like the challenge. You can forget building a snowman. Can
Sure.
you make one snowball? So when I first moved out to Virginia, which is where I moved to from Alabama before I came to Colorado,
Let's go.
I really enjoyed like the snow, but after a certain number of snowstorms, like I don't know, it's not that they get old, it's just that the amount of fun you can have sort of outside in them, I don't know, I feel like that decreases a bit after over time. But I like watching it. Like snow's beautiful. It looks really nice outside.
What is
my
your
window
guys'
right now.
take
So-
on the roads are fine still from what I can see? The roads are fine. I want to order a pizza. What's your take on ordering delivery when it's snowing?
Take advantage and tip good.
Sure. I mean, I do tip very well. I'm former
gotta tip
industry.
really
I
well
always
for
tip
that.
really well. Do you guys think that's a dick move though?
It's a
I
dick
will.
move, So you have to tip really well.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
addictive, but you have to tip really well to make up.
I mean,
for it.
Domino's is like 3 blocks away. I could just drive and pick it up myself, so I should.
You
Probably
could
do
also
that.
walk.
I'm not gonna walk. Well,
Look,
maybe I
when
will.
it's snowing,
You know how cold your pizza would be by the time you got back.
That's true. But cold pizza is underrated.
Cold pizza, it's my favorite type of pizza.
Yeah, but that's out of the fridge, not like
No,
carrying
no.
the box back.
any cold pizza. If it's cold and the cheese is just like a little bit kind of smushy, perfect pizza.
That is
Perfect.
a crazy take.
I
No, I-
enjoy
I
my
Fresh
think
hot
Yahir's
pizza
right.
is the best version of pizza.
No,
That's
that
not.
is a
Why are we
lie.
arguing about this?
This is a lie brought to you by corporations because they want to sell you microwaves. Who are you wiping off the screen?
It's snowing in here.
Like on a snow day, this is what you have to do. You make some champurrado, you chill in front of the TV.
What
and
is
you
that?
just champurrado is just like a style of Mexican chocolate with right.
Oh,
So you sit there, you bundle up. If you have a special someone in your life, you bundle up with them and you put 3 of the best rom-coms you can find.
4 married guys, so we all
look when
That's what you do.
when you are
I'm
a
on
down
pins and
on your
needles.
luck-
I know, me too. Say it.
when you
We're all
Stop
at the edge of our
judging
seats.
me.
What?
when you are just a down on your luck lawyer from the big city who needs a break and you do a house swap with someone in the middle of nowhere town, the middle of America,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Classic.
you go and your car breaks down and the mechanic who shows up is a handsome mechanic who has a tragic story of losing his family, and
Oh, I
then
thought
it's
it
like
was- I don't know why
You're talking like a Dean Cain
and then
type.
it starts
Yeah.
snowing, and then you fall in love and find the real message and reason for snow,
In Christmas.
then you're Yahya and you're in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
Dude.
let's go.
And
Classic Yahya.
that's what you do in the snow.
Dude,
I have never been on bated breath like that on this podcast ever than for you to get that story out. Oh my God.
I'm here to build up the Hallmark suspense.
This is why you have to listen until the hour mark, you guys. This is important shit.
So AJ has a really nice theory, AJ, our apps guy, that Hallmark has a recipe, a format. And if you
of course
stray from the format,
Yeah,
the ones
they're all
that
the
stray,
same.
no, of course. But when they stray from the format even a little bit, those are the bad Hallmark movies.
Yes.
So you got to make sure there's no kittens involved, no animals.
They're all bad.
I've never seen a
They're
single
so
one.
fun.
I have
Dude,
no
hold on.
idea.
Joseph, instead of
Wow.
watching the MLS Cup final on Saturday, we'll hook up and we'll watch Hallmark movies. Okay?
Joseph is hosting. So everyone go to Joseph's house and it's going to be
Hallmark
super
movies
fun.
at Joseph's.
Yeah.
It's right in
Joseph's
the corner of
MLS Cup
Colfax and
final.
York.
Yeah.
Y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me.
Hey.
He said he'll give free beers and candy to anybody that shows up.
I am
Wow.
getting sliced and diced again.
I
Wow.
wonder, with all of the TVs we have down in the DNVR,
Yes,
park,
it will be on.
could we get every Hallmark holiday movie
Oh.
on at the same
Oh
time?
no, definitely
No,
not.
definitely
No, not even
We only have
close.
32 screens. It's not.
Yeah, there's about 150 different ones because they take out like 50 every year.
We've got
That's a lot of
crazy
magic.
Hallmark lore
That's a lot of
experts here.
magic.
Like,
It's a lot of magic.
Look, it started as a snow day activity pod, finished with a Hallmark movie pod, and that's DNVR, baby. That's how we roll.
DNVR Hallmark, let's go.
All right, wrap this up, Joseph. Take us home. Go ahead and plug your stuff.
you guys can follow me on Twitter at JSPSAM. Always excited to be on the pod.
Love that.
I-
Yeah. Plug away.
5-star reviews anywhere you listen, please. We really appreciate it. If you're not gonna
Please,
give us a 5-star review, don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
Nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, please.
Straight up.
Say bye to Joseph, guys. This is his last show ever.
Yeah, he's banned forever. So.
He's out of here because the MLS Cup finals are gone, so there's no need for him anymore. Follow DNVR_Rapids. We love it all very much. Tell us what you want to hear. If you want to hear Joseph, we'll consider having back. But there might be a fee involved.
Yeah,
He's
we'll
getting too
discuss
big.
off air. We'll discuss off air. Yeah.
So just let us know what you guys want to hear, and we're more than happy to oblige.
Duane, go ahead. Plug away, my guy.
Come say hi on Twitter if you like. But start making your schedules to come hang out at the DNVR bar, your hub for the cup with DNVR plus Colorado Rapids. We're going to have tons of fun. I cannot wait to hang out and watch us get out of the group stage and not be on rehearsal.
Love it. You know what? I have one shout out I want to give. Shout out to friend of the program, the Ginger Ninja himself, Matt Pollard, taking over Burgundy Wave. Shout out,
Congratulations,
managing
Matt.
editor.
Thank the
Love
Lord,
to
bring
see it.
Burgundy Wave back, baby.
Yeah, love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So shout out to him. We'll try and get him on here in the next few weeks. We'll talk about it and see what's going on over at Burgundy Wave. Outside of that, come down to the bar. We'll be playing the 2 early Avalanche games. We'll be open the next 2 days. They're in Finland. We'll be playing all the World Cup games. We got Nuggets takeover on Saturday. We got all sorts of fun stuff. So come on down to the bar. I'll be slinging t-shirts and raffle tickets and doing all the stuff we usually do down there. But more important than any single one of those things anybody said for the last hour and 4 minutes, up the PIDs.